Good evening and many thanks for joining us live on QTV. You are watching QTV News and I am Ajibintu Drame. In tonight's top stories. President Barrow, candidate of the NPP-led Grand Coalition, on Saturday held his first meeting in the Upper River region at Gambisara in the Jimara district. While addressing a crowd of thousands of supporters in Basse, President Barrow revealed his intention to put an end to illegal migration by creating more job opportunities for the youth and in order to help end the importation of rice. The Gambia Armed Forces on Sunday observed Remembrance Day in honor of war veterans to honor armed forces members who died in the line of duty. The two-week UN Climate Change Conference ended in Glasgow over the weekend, with countries agreeing a deal to limit global heat to 1.5 Celsius. In sports, the Gambia women's volleyball team on a training camp in Dubai have won 2 friendly games in a row against Sharjah Ladies Club in 2 regions. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. Now, President Barrow, candidate of the NPP-led Grand Coalition, on Saturday held its first meeting in the Upper River region at Gambisara in the Jimara district. As Alusisi reports, the people of Jimara vowed to re-elect him on December 4th.
It is day 6 of the ongoing campaign tour by the NPP-led Grand Coalition, and we're here in Gambisara in the Jimara district, the first meeting in the Upper River region. The President of the Republic, Adama Barrow, is seeking re-election in December when Gambians will go to the polls to decide who will lead the country in the next 5 years.
A large crowd wearing printed NPP t-shirts bearing "Vote for Barrow" chanted words of praises for President Barrow as they welcomed the NPP candidate and his entourage to Gambisara in the Jimara district. President Barrow hails from Mankomankunda in the same district. Representatives of the people of Jimara, including Mohamedou Khadija Dukure of Gambisara, Aja Kumba Janka, APRC women's leader in Gambisara, Maheli Sella, NPP women's chairperson in Gambisara, and Fune Danso, NPP women's mobilizer in Jimara, all praised President Barrow for the developments and respect for the rights and freedoms of the people. They described him as a Democrat who has given everyone peace of mind to live. They promised to reciprocate their appreciation with massive votes on December 4th. They declared their area as electorally a no-go area for the opposition. Musa Yali Bacheli, founder of the Gambia Action Party, highlighted the numerous developments ushered in the Upper River region, such as the Laminkoto Pasamas Road, the Basse Fatoto Koina Road, and the bridges. Mr. Bacheli said President Barrow is a truthful and humble leader and urged the people of Jimara to give their votes to the NPP. Musa Drame, National Treasurer of the NPP, reassured the people that the President has a big heart for the country and is only interested in the development of the country. He advised the people not to listen to what he said is the opposition's empty promises, as they will also visit the area. Addressing the rally, President Adama Barrow, who has long and strong ties with the people of Gambisara and communities of Jimara, said the crowd has given him assurance that victory in Jimara district is already confirmed. He thanked the NPP structures in the district for their good work.
Nankun kananu di menjangu mba volontaire din kanun ye ngatu ke mitini de golle khore ada bari mitini ke di ngalon ne ariye do ku bale kan miti woto dan ndemi mitini nyana Gambisara yo saben su ko ndal tam miti woto Gambisara bar lenki ngara fu be war Gambisara bar men Gambisara bi njimme sawke nante Gambisara pare akatta on the 4th of December 2020.
President Barrow says he is not campaigning in URR as his work in the region is enough justification of his developments. Nonetheless, he promised more life-changing projects if re-elected. He urged them to ignore his opponents as he warned the people of Jimara not to vote for candidates whose main agenda is revenge and to further divide the country. He said the country needs unity to develop, something he vows to champion. Reporting for QTV News from Basse in the Upper River region, I am Aliou Cisse.
President Barrow has revealed his intention to put an end to illegal migration by creating more job opportunities for the youth and another to help end the importation of rice. He made the announcements while addressing a crowd of thousands in the provincial town of Basse on the day 6 of his ongoing campaign tour. Aliou Cisse is traveling with the president and he now reports.
At his Basse rally on Saturday night, the Gambian leader and NPP-led coalition presidential candidate, President Barrow, said many youths continue to embark on the risky journey in search of supposedly better opportunities in Europe. However, this has led to the loss of many lives. He reveals that, among other things, as part of mechanisms to end the societal menace of irregular migration, his government is going to explore the fishing sector, which has the potential to create thousands of jobs, thereby encouraging the youth to stay home. President Barrow said the fishing sector is dominated by non-Gambians, and this is something his government intends to change. He announced that a $50 million project has been secured to purchase fishing trawlers, provide training for young people to be professional fishermen, improve the fishing landing sites, and construct storage facilities.
ko hoɓɓe ɓe gawata liɗi nder Gambia miɗen jogii maayo ngol heewi liɗɗi ko waɗi ɓe keɓi $50 million on projet ari pour wallude sukaaɓe min cooda laaɗe min cooda jaraaji min cooda bagage kala ko awirte liɗɗi a yiya wondema sukaaɓe men ɓe no mbaawi hen ɓe mbaɗa ɓe train ɓe natta e awa liɗɗi ɓe mbawa nafde koye maɓɓe ɓe mbawa nafde famille ji maɓɓe ɗum noon kadi yaagol baaduye kadi ɓe mbaɗa ɗum éliminer indi Gambia.
President Barrow expressed satisfaction with the developments that have already transformed the area.
Basenaaɓe ko jejjitanoɓe kono hande Gambia fof tini Basse, Gambia fof andi Basse, Gambia fof andi Basse gollaaɗo.
On agriculture, he said an $80 million agriculture project has been secured to help end the importation of rice, this country's staple food, in the next few years. On the energy sector, President Barrow revealed that Basse will be connected to the Senegal electricity grid before the end of this month to ensure 24 hours electricity supply. On health, he informed the crowd that 24 health facilities are being constructed and over 20 are undergoing transformation. The government, he said, will bring highly trained doctors from Cuba to serve in the country's health facilities. He also reveals that the Brikama OMVG substation will be connected to the already inaugurated summer substation by next month to ensure reliable power supply for the people of the Greater Banjul area. Seluba, Alcala of Basse, Awa Cham, Women Mobilizer, Mari Konate, NPP District Chairman, Alaji Bajoko Dukre, APRC Regional Chairman, Mohamed Magazi, National Assembly Member for Basse Constituency, and Bubu Drame, NPP Regional Chairman, were unanimous in thankful to the Barrow government for the numerous projects in the area.
Excellency President Adama Barrow.
His Excellency President Adama Barrow.
A manque politicien odi.
Kanko na politicien de.
Do kula.
Kanko bonyo.
Kedigame seda wonni mane Your Excellency Mr. President. Angana giri koina ma kaso, angana giri sare bojo ma koina, angana giri demba kunda ma sare ngai, sere suntat nandanga ni President Barrow ola hikay.
Dunya Barrow le buga. Bebe ya film Barrow.
His Excellency Ogolide.
For them, a landslide victory for the president in Basse district is confirmed. Reporting for QTV News from the provincial town of Basse in the Upper River region, I am Aliou Cisse.
Moving on, the Gambia Armed Forces on Sunday observed Remembrance Day in honor of war veterans and to honor armed forces members who died in the line of duty. Sadly, in the Gambia, there is only one surviving World War II veteran. Modula Michoy reports.
The commemoration of our gallant war heroes was marked by a march past and the traditional wreath laying. The Army, with members of its infantry battalions and the Gambia Police Force, observed Remembrance Day in Banjul at the cenotaph with a military parade. There was a 2-minute silence marked with 2-gun salute in honor of their ultimate sacrifice for world peace. Presiding over the Remembrance Sunday event was the Vice President, Dr. Aïssatou Touré, who attended to pay tribute to the war heroes on behalf of the President and every Gambian. As part of the Remembrance Sunday service, the Vice President, members of the Diplomatic Corps and other representatives laid wreaths to pay their respect to those who lost their lives in their line of duty. Captain Malik Sanyang, the PRO of the Gambia Armed Forces, tells us the significance of War Veterans and Remembrance Day in the history of the Gambia and the military.
Because if anybody is to understand what these people went through, the ordeal they have to go through, remembering, their Shokto campaign and then remembering their Caladan River crossing campaign, you will realize that we would know it far better because we are indeed presently.
Remembrance Day is a sad moment of reflection of a bitter history of a bloody conflict involving hundreds of thousands of African soldiers who fought and lost their lives in the battlefront. For the Gambia, more than 1,000 survived the war, while dozens left dead in the jungle of Burma, now known as Myanmar, without a dignified burial. Alpha Osman Jallo is the Public Relations Officer of the World War II Veterans Family Association.
We know many died there, and up till now, we don't even know where their graves are for them to be honored. Whilst we are honoring graves of other fallen soldiers in other parts of the world, but for ours, they may be somewhere in Burma or in India or Caladan, but we've not even done any research to find out where they are so that we can honor them. That is one thing.
On their return home after the war, the veterans had little to show except for the injuries and scars left on their bodies, the legacies of their sacrifice. The last Gambian World War II warrior, Ibu Jaha, who is 102 years, is a glaring example of the many veterans who spend their post-war time struggling to feed their families. Despite his age and since his return from the war, Mr. Jaha owns a workshop where he spends time making a living for himself and his family.
Those who came back, they also were not given the due honor and dignity so that once they come back, they could live a dignified life. Instead, when they came back, some of them were recruited back into the field force, but others were then sent back home to the countryside, and they returned as farmers. Some of them had found, their families, in disarray, and they lived lives of hardship and poverty. They went back to the fields, and there was no support as promised when they came back.
Remembrance Day in the Gambia, as in many parts of the world, is used to remember not only those who died in World War I and II, but also the people who fought in many wars and paid the ultimate price. They lost their lives. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
From that story, we will go for a short commercial break. Still to come, we have more stories too. Stay tuned.
I am the light goddess. Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q-Power. I am Q-Cell. I am Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
Sign Language Interpretation Service is proudly supported by the UNDP Accelerator Lab.
Welcome back from that commercial break. Now, the two-week UN Climate Change Conference ended in Glasgow over the weekend, with countries agreeing a deal to limit global heat to 1.5 Celsius. Jennifer Sonko reports from Glasgow.
Those were young climate activists on the final day of COP26, demanding urgent action. Generally, the final days of the conference were characterized by urgent calls to action and at some point pleading by Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Due to heated negotiations, a day was added to the COP26 conference to get an agreement. Finally, an agreement was reached late on Saturday evening called the Glasgow Climate Pact. Officials say they can now say with credibility that the 1.5-degree target is kept alive, but its pulse is weak and it will only survive if countries keep their promises and turn their commitments into action. The most prominent aspect of the 10-page agreement is phasing out of coal and subsidies for fossil fuels, and that developed countries improve their climate financing. To achieve the Glasgow Climate Pact, China and India requested the phrase phasing out coal be adjusted to merely phasing down to suit them. Throughout the two-week climate conference, young people were constantly reminded of the need to step up and challenge the narrative.
We also, need to be very inclusive as young people, Our governments have availed us opportunity, but also there should be that safe space for young people because they understand the grassroots problems and the issues being affected. Our farmers have abandoned their lands, and also there is an increase in the rural-urban migration, and the climate change migration is on the increase as well. Our governments can sustain or keep this, heavy workload on them. So, with all this being said, our livelihoods are affected, our education is affected, and of course, our economy is crumbling down due to the climate change effects.
Developed countries have pledged $290 million for the least developed nations who carry the burden of climate change, which could reduce their GDP by 6%. Although many of the least developed countries are disgruntled about access to finance for climate projects, Boubacar Zaidi Jallo, Director, Central Project Coordinating Unit and NDC Coordinator, seems confident about getting more support, judging by bilateral meetings he attended.
My expectations have been with regards to bilaterals and seeking additional funding support for the Gambia with regards to the implementation of our climate change adaptation and mitigation projects. And I'm very pleased to say we've had many successful bilaterals.
Negotiating on gender issues, young climate change activist Fatou Jeng made her mark at the COP26 for better gender involvement in climate change and related matters.
You don't expect people that are being affected at the local level, at the grassroots level, not included on the table to talk about the challenges that they are facing, as well as propose recommendations for them to be included. And we have seen this over the years, not only in our annual climate negotiations and our global climate negotiations, but even at the national level in terms of leadership. And for us to really prioritize or tackle the climate crisis, we need to make sure that women are part of the leadership process to ensure that at least we're taking things seriously.
Now that Glasgow Climate Pact has been reached, what should it bring about specifically?
The whole objective of this summit now is to take these inventions, take these breakthroughs, and get the finance, get the support to make sure that they are disseminated, they are spread around the whole world, so that the whole world shares in the Glasgow breakthroughs and shares in our agenda, and that we unite across the whole planet to tackle climate change.
We leave the COP26 Center with optimism and hope to work towards the commitments. COP27 will be hosted in Egypt in November 2023, where negotiations and accountability for a better planet will continue. Reporting for QTV News in Glasgow, UK, I am Jennifer Sonko.
The Board of Directors of the NAWEC Cooperative Credit Union on Saturday held their annual general meeting for the financial year 2020 with the theme Promoting Financial Inclusion During a Pandemic, Balancing Profitability and Social Responsibility. Omar P. Jallo has the rest of that story.
Credit unions are financial institutions that operate to promote the well-being of their members, and profit made by credit unions are usually returned to members in the form of reduced fees, higher saving interest rates, and lower loan interest rates. Tijan Mane, the chairman of NAWEC Cooperative Credit Union, reveals that as at December 2020, their total assets increased to $131,341,924 compared to $116,518,225 in 2019, representing 12.7% growth, adding that membership also increased from 1,924 in 2019 to 1,967 in 2020, including group associations and common bond members.
The board continued to contribute to on loan settlement guarantee, that's LSGS, to secure the loans of our members in the event of death or permanent disability. During the year, we offset the loan balances of 10 of our deceased members to the tune of $529,750 butut. The savings of these deceased were refunded fully to their families.
Nani Juara, the managing director of NAWEC, urged members to increase their monthly saving, minimize withdrawals, increase their sales, and make good investment with their loans.
Credit unions' focus is not on profitability, but to support members, their families, and communities that they operate within. As a founding member and one-time chairman of the NAWEC Cooperative Credit Union, I can attest to the fact that the union has indeed supported and continue to support all members in changing their livelihoods.
Bakari Sanyang, the external auditor who audited the union's accounts books, expressed gratitude to the NAWEC CCU for successfully presenting their audited financial report for the year 2020, despite the challenges of the COVID-19.
Credit union happy family, member helping member. But my question always is, in as much as credit union is happy family, member helping member, member can only help member when the institution is financially self-sustainable, when the credit unions are liquid. Otherwise, we can be happy family, but member cannot help member.
Aisetu I Kamara, the treasurer, says it is an order year where the credit union recorded a surplus on income over expenditure, adding that in 2020, they introduced a customer loan facility to their members for products like fridges, freezers, televisions, motorbikes, and mobile phones.
The return realized on these consumer products from May to December 2020 was $297,069, which was equivalent to 3% of our return in our income and expenditure account.
Abbas Sankare, the registrar of cooperatives, and Fode Sanyang, the general manager of NACOOP, both believe the success of credit unions is based on membership and strong financial resources, adding that the achievements of NAWEC CCU are undoubtedly due to the tireless, selfless, and committed leadership. Mama Salinjai delivered the vote of thanks, and in line with its regulations, the AGM approved the reports, the previous minutes, financial statements, and the resolutions. Reporting for KTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Now let's take a quick look at some interesting sports news. The Gambia women's volleyball team on a training camp in Dubai have won 2 friendly games in a row against Sharjah Ladies Club in 2 regions. Our sports reporter Momodu Gajaga watched both games and he now reports.
Gambia came from a set down to win 3-1 against the Sharjah Ladies Club in the central region of the United Arab Emirates in a spectacular display. The hosts enjoyed good moments in the opening set, coupled with some individual errors by Gambia players. In the second set, more character was shown by the Gambian ladies. With strength and individual brilliance, 2 players, Fatou Dabo and Hojenjai, were outstanding for the Gambian team.
Nga confident ni na soda wala nan perform ta well
because ngaje la comme ni man tek timo te mi yalan ko ni mi ñanda ka ñoo compete.
Game bi baax na de waaye des na dafa laak play nañ de waaye dafa des nag.
Lamin Elef Baji, the Gambia coach, says the team continues to learn in every game with much improved performances. Kay Lopez Aplaska, a player for the Sarja Ladies Club in the Central Region, says it was a great experience playing against Gambia.
It was really an exciting game, and I can see that the players from Gambia are very competitive and they have so much talent, and it's very nice playing with them.
In the second friendly game on Sunday night, Gambia women's volleyball team won 3 straight sets to 0 against Sarja Ladies in the Eastern Region, which is 2.5 hours drive from Dubai. Despite the long journey, the ladies won with ease, mainly with their second team. Mariama Sabali reacted to their performance. Asma Al-Belusi, a player with Sarja Ladies Club Eastern Region, described the Gambia team as amazing to play against.
The game was amazing. The girls were playing really hard and it was a nice experience with them all. I enjoyed really playing with them and seeing this and experiencing everything with them.
The Gambia women's volleyball team Dubai camp is nearing the end, with 1 more day to go as the team returns to Gambia on Wednesday. Gambia Sports Ambassador Tijan Jete and partners from the United Arab Emirates General Authority of Sports hailed the training camp as a success and a good experience for both teams. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News, Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
Well, that's it from me in tonight's edition of the news. Thank you for watching and have a nice evening.